If you're a business owner tuning into this episode, this may be one of the most important episodes to ever listen to when it comes to successfully scaling your business. Yes, it's a property podcast, and I'm talking about scaling your business. However, if you're not a business owner and you're sitting there and going, well, one day I do want to run my own business, whether that's 5, 10, 15 years, then listen up to this episode because this will be game changing. Now, when it comes to a business, usually people set it up for various reasons, and some reasons may be more important than the other. It could be freedom, it could be certain wealth goals, it could be purpose and impact in terms of the difference you can make for others or the world based on your product or service and how many people you can touch with it. Now, the key here is that when you are scaling a business, it requires a few things: lots of money, patience, learnings, and having to go through the ups and downs. It could be mistakes, it could be step backs, it could be personal impacts that have then flown onto your business, but there's a lot going on. Now, where does property investing come into this? This actually comes into it very, very high up in terms of level of importance. And business owners do have different views. There are people that look at it from a perspective of, hey, don't invest in property until you get your business to a certain level and then you can park cash away. Then there are people in the bucket of, invest in property a little bit each time as your business grows, so you know you're building wealth towards the future. And then there are others who feel don't invest in a business at all until you've got property. So when it comes to property investing, I'd obviously started a portfolio, and I think I got to about 9 properties, if I'm not mistaken, before I pulled the plug and started a business. Now, when I was on this journey, I wanted to take you to a moment that actually hit me as recent as last year. Now, last year, I was in a moment of a business where we were just doing things really well. Everything was going well in terms of highly satisfied customers with over 150 5-star reviews. I was going through a journey where every single customer was referring people, telling their friends, telling their family. Team members were growing, team members were doing well. We were just going along. Performance for our clients, results in their portfolios, bank valuations coming back better and better and better. However, there was a moment in which I'd realized there's so much good impact here. Why can't I do more of this for more people? There's so many lives being changed where I'm getting messages back saying, hey, why am I not thinking of this to take this to a new level? Because I'm just realizing so many people are seeing their lives changed. From one person having no investments to having 5, 6, 7. From another person realizing that they were just in a cycle of work, spend, holiday, spend, work, save, spend, holiday, just constant vicious cycles like this. And then they were able to put away $4 million of investments. And then others who were able to then scale their property portfolios to 6, 7, 8, 9, residential, commercial, and start to leave their family generational wealth. I realized sitting here in my business, there were strong impacts we are creating and can impact. We need to do more of it. But naturally, as a business owner, you're scaling and you start to see all the expenses, the signs, the difficulties. And then there was a moment that I came up to in my investing journey where I said to myself, hold on a minute, don't stress on it or think of it the same way. Don't think of all the reds showing up, the expenses showing up that happen when you grow a business, and realize that you've got something that very few business owners do have that is a massive, powerful piece to the puzzle. And that was a property portfolio. And I started doing the math. I had $12 million of assets. I'd looked down and I said, if I just have 5% of growth, that is $600,000 of wealth creation. And sometimes you put this internal pressure on yourself to constantly make a certain level of profit. And without making that certain level of profit, you think you're not successful, you think your business is not going in the right way. But to be honest, when you're making changes to make a larger impact, positively impact more customers, more people across Australia, you have to make expensive decisions, which means more team members, more hiring, more advertising, more investment into your systems and processes, more tools, more technology, more research improvement, all of that and more. And then I realized to myself, is profit the most important thing, considering my portfolio is profiting $600K a year in compounding wealth, even if I pay $0 of debt down, $600K a year and more and growing because of that 5% of 12 million. So it made me realize when I started making this journey 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20, and as crazy as it sounds, I was sitting down and thinking of, what if I made no profit for 20 years? And I would probably not be the best business owner to listen to in terms of guidance and advice if I make no profit for 20 years. But stick with me for a minute. Think of where I'm going. Imagine the impact I could make if everything was reinvested, going back, growing, impacting people positively for 20 straight years. The jobs I create in my team, the impact I make of my customers, the systems, tools, and technologies that no one is willing to invest in that I go in and say, no, we're going to invest in, all because the profit wasn't the biggest driver. That is something that made me take my thinking to a new level. Because as a result of that thinking, I wasn't thinking of the dollar signs, I was thinking of the impact. Because I knew the dollar signs were working for me behind the scenes anyway. And that was the whole idea, right? Property investing to compound, to do things for me that I only wish I could do from my own savings, my own earnings, which would take a long time to do. Could you imagine someone consistently saving $600,000 a year? Easier said than done. Even with successful business owners who run 7- and 8-figure businesses, saving $600,000 a year, tax-free, leverageable, is not easy. That's saving $11,538 per week. So when I did the math on this, it made me realize that the property investing was the biggest reason that I could actually sit back with the comfort, not be addicted or desire or need the profit to make the impact I need to make. And I could grow a business to new heights, knowing that something was working for me. And there is always going to be a time, just like when Amazon or Uber one day turns the profit. There is going to be a moment where InvestorKit can get to such a high level of profits, but by doing it the right way, the right thing for the right people. And that was most important to me. And so from that perspective, I realized that this was a moment for me to step back in business and focus on all the right tools, systems, processes, and keep making sure our research continues to outperform. When you're on that journey of your business scaling, or if you're on a salary and you one day want to open a business, how will the property portfolio impact you? Well, this is how it's impacted me. And so by building an investment property portfolio either before business or in the earlier parts of business, yes, some may say that could cripple you a little bit because the cash is going in different directions, being property not always your business. But if you can start your journey in investing first before you scale the business, it lets you scale the business looking back, knowing you can go and make the biggest impact to your clients in the most positive way, knowing that you've got wealth generating behind the scenes and you're not desperate for that wealth for you to live a better life. The outcome of a better life will happen just by the impact I create for others. And if it takes me a little bit longer to get to that outcome of a certain life I want, that's okay because I know my property investing was working behind the scenes for me. And so I encourage you as business owners to start taking property investing more seriously. It's not about the millions of dollars of revenue. It's not about the staff you put on or how many you have. These are all outcomes in certain line items. It's not about ego-driven metrics. It's about impact. And if you can create the impact knowing you've got something working for you and your family so you're going to be okay, that's the motivation that allowed me to make sure that I don't have to think about me because I'm always going to be okay. And so I encourage business owners out there to get more serious about creating wealth. Because whilst your business is a vehicle, it's a vehicle typically for cash flow, unless it's a unique vehicle that you plan to exit as part of an asset. Now, very few people in business tend to set it up to exit. I know many that do, but majority fell in love with the passion that turned it into passion combining with their skills, and then passion combined with skills, combined with time and impact, started to turn into a formula where they just want to do this thing forever because they see where it could go. But imagine if you're just generating more growth, more cash flow, but never storing it aside. And this is the second phase of the importance of property. So the first importance of property was for me to be so locked into my vision of positive impact for people that I know my wealth building is taken care of so I can focus on the positive outcomes, not on the profit. The second aspect of property is using it as a storage part. Throughout my 5 years of business so far, now heading into the 6th, every year I made a real estate investing decision to date. That means as profits grew, I parked it, put it into the side and stored it. Because you know what? The majority of businesses sadly don't make it past 10, very few make it past 15, and even fewer make it past 20 years. What that does mean is that the statistics are against you. However, whilst you're on your greater vision, whilst you're looking to make a greater impact, imagine the power of storing wealth each and every year and using business and property as together in one plan. For example, Daniel is one of our clients. And if you're keen to check out Daniel's story, jump onto investorkit.com.au/success stories and check out the page where I've got a video there of Daniel Tai. Great friend of mine and someone that I've worked closely with on many parts of his business journey, as well as property journey, because together we consider it one. And every year he does something that inspires me. He looks at his finances, he looks at his cash, he looks at his business growth, and looks at all these vehicles holistically as one. And he's constantly going, can I invest? Do I have the right buffers? Is my business going in the right direction? Can I take out a loan? Let's go invest. Obviously in line with the plan, in line with strategy, in line with data, and that's led us to make multiple purchases. We've gone to Brisbane, we've gone to Bundaberg, we've gone to Bendigo, we've gone to Adelaide, we've even looked at parts of Sydney, and then we've also looked at commercials in Brisbane and growing across Toowoomba and more. Residential, commercial. Then there's Leanne and Barry. 6 residentials, 3 commercials, all whilst each and every year their growth in business continues. Then there's Michael Thomas, where we'd gone and said, hey, look, you're doing a very successful business here, Michael, but can we take each year to park business aside and know that we grab certain profits, put it into property and keep scaling? This has led us to Sydney in terms of Central Coast. We've gone over to Bundaberg, we've gone over to Brisbane, we've gone over to Adelaide and more. The key here is that these business owners saw property not just a core part of their wealth building, but a core part of storage of wealth as their business grew, not just all cash, all in on their business. And this is something that many of the most successful investors in our client base do. Take a moment to pit stop in business, put cash aside, continue to grow business. And so as you're imagining your journey, even on a salary, it's the same thing. Pit stopping, growing through your corporate career, going through the salary, maybe one day transitioning to business, but pit stopping and ensuring you're storing that wealth each and every time. Because business is hard work, promotions are hard work, but knowing that there's a property doing the easy work behind the scenes for you can be very powerful. So as you're on this journey, if you've got a very successful vision ahead, if you've got a very large goal and large impact that you want to make it holistic and consider how property investing can form a part of that strategy. Property investing, when combined with business, whether it's a business you own now or a future business, has so many important parts that will flow together. A wealth of storage, a separate vehicle that grows without all the hard work that you need to input in business, and most importantly, something doing the work for you so you can stay locked into your vision and not locked into profits. The profits will likely happen off the back of your vision, across the impact, and how long and large you think. It'll likely just be a consequence of all of those activities together. And if you pull this together with the right buffer, the right sort of cash flow management, then you've got a strategy that continues to snowball, continues to build in wealth, and you will look back with a very prolific portfolio at the end of the day because you let time, assets, and everything in business all compound together. That's one thing I've learned and why you'll see me making the best tools for our clients, the best research to outperform, grow the most team to create the most divisions, and be the least selfish I can be in our scale of growth for our company, not constantly having one person trying to do everything, but having a team so our clients get a team around them to be absolute superstars for their portfolio. This is something that if you can imagine in your business doing and the positive impacts you can make for your clients, this all starts with a wealth storage of property, knowing that you're going to be okay so you can focus on others being okay. Now, when it comes to learning about how you can have a plan built for you and start to scale a portfolio, it doesn't start with just, buying any old property. It starts with learning what some of these business owners have done on their journey and what they're doing even today. I mentioned earlier a link where you can jump onto investikit.com.au/success stories. Check out that link. Go listen to some of the business owners. There's Australia's top mortgage brokers there. There's many of the successful clients in their respective businesses I've shared with you today and more. Check out what they've been doing on their portfolio, how they bring business and property together. And I've just shared with you how I do it, knowing that I'm able to craft a focus on my biggest vision for impacting many more Australians, reach their investing goals, create generational wealth, get back their time, and get comfort on where they're heading. This is something that you can learn more about by checking out investikit.com.au/success stories. It's Arjun Paliwal here, Head of Research at Investikit Buyers Agency, and thank you for tuning in to another episode.